Hey, what's going on today, YouTube? Thanks for joining me on another one of these knot series videos. So today we're gonna be talking all about the fisherman's knot. I honestly only have one presentation that I use this knot on. I think my other knots kind of cover my other areas, but the definite time that I do use a fisherman's knot is when I'm throwing a spinnerbait. I think because of the size and just, you know, the way that this bait is designed, the Palomar knot, whereas you can definitely tie it on there, and I think it's definitely, you know, if I was in a tournament, I would probably tie the Palomar knot on my spinnerbait every time. But for ease of fishing, you know, at a pond or whatever, because the fisherman's knot is a strong knot in my opinion, not as strong as the Palomar, but definitely still a strong knot. It's just set up a lot easier to tie it on when you're throwing a bait, you know, this size, you know, a bait that's 4 inches wide and, you know, 4 inches long, you know, basically a big square. If we were to tie the Palomar knot on this, if we had to get that loop all the way around it, it would be a pain. So the fisherman's knot is definitely a knot that I tie in this presentation, and you guys honestly could tie it in a presentation where I would throw a Palomar knot. I don't recommend it. I highly recommend the Palomar knot, but the fisherman's knot is another direct cinch knot that you can tie on that is pretty strong. All right, so we got our nice presentation rope and our trusty big bait. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my main line here and the tag end of my main line, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put that tag end of my main line right through the eye of my bait or hook in this presentation, okay? So for the sake of me using this thick of a line here, I'm only gonna wrap this a certain amount of times, but what you guys wanna do is you wanna be able to hold your main line up and the tag end of your main line, so that way you can wrap the tag end of your main line around your main line 6 times, okay? So you wanna wrap that around there, right? After you go through the eye of your bait 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna be left with just a twisty line, right? So you're gonna take the tag end of your main line and you're gonna go through the first loop, the very first loop. So now what you're gonna do with the tag end of your main line is you're just gonna go back through that loop that you just made when you went through that first loop. You understand what I'm saying? So you have your wrapped up line, take the tag end of your main line and put it through that first loop, and then take it right back through and put it through that loop that you just made, okay? And that's it, we're finished. This is gonna definitely not work here. Oh, there we go, worked good. Good deal. So I'll definitely be able to show you guys this a little better on the fishing line, but you wanna cinch both of those down. Definitely, you know, always lubricate your line. Spit, highly recommend. It's great and it's right there. If you guys wanna dip it in the water, I guess you could, that works, but so there you go. You have this little barrel that you made, and you'll have 6 wraps. You've come through your first loop and then back up through that initial loop you made. Now, like I said, this is a pretty strong knot. Do I think it's as strong as the Palomar knot? No, I don't. Have I broken this off? No, I haven't. And there's probably a lot of people who fish this knot exclusively and have no problem with it at all. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna tie this spinnerbait on here with some line, and we'll show you what it looks like in a real presentation. So we're just gonna take the spinnerbait here and some 17-pound fluoro like we've been using in all the videos. And we're just gonna go straight through our eye and let that bait hang, okay? So I find it easy to do this if I just go ahead and at this point hold the top of my bait here and kind of just hold those two lines in place. That way they don't move or slip around. I find that helps me a ton, you know? So once I'm through and I have some slack up here on my tag end of my main line, as you can see, both are decently long, or excuse me, my tag end is decently long. I'll just go ahead and take my thumb and my index finger on my left hand, and I'll just cinch that, you know, just pinch that right there at the top. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go 6 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. Then I'm just gonna go directly through my first loop, the one that's right on the eye. And because I was holding that down, this isn't gonna spin on me. So I'm gonna go directly through that first one there. And then I'm gonna go back through, and it's gonna be a pretty big loop, as you guys will see, because now there's 6 wraps here. Now I'm just gonna go back through that. Grab that tag end. And what I like to do here is I kind of like to, like I said in the last video, just pull a little bit till that, you know, I feel just a little tension there, and then I'll grab this whole section, let go of everything, grab my main line, and then I'll literally pull that right down to the tip of my bait, right? So no mess, no problem. I don't have to worry about anything getting tangled up. So I mean, look how nice and neat that barrel stayed on the way down. So then I'll just do the same thing, but I'll hold the top of this, get a little bit wet. I'll hold the top of this, and then I'll just pull that down to the bottom, okay? A little bit more lube. Boom, we're tight. We're in, we're cinched. Now, if you guys have your tag end, once you're coming out, if you see your tag end pointing down out of the bottom of your knot, then you missed going through that second loop. As you can see on this one, and I hope you can, it's coming out and it's coming up or straight horizontal over to the side, because that's because we went through that first loop and then back up through the loop that we just made. So remember, if you miss that loop, your tag end will be pointing down. Just cut that off and restart. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and, you know, leave the same distance as you would on any other knot. Probably a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch, or maybe exactly 1/8 of an inch, 2-3 millimeters if you're a metric guy. And there you go. Strong knot. We didn't have to, you know, take a loop around the whole bait. Like I said, if I was tournament fishing or, you know, something where there was a little bit higher stakes, because I'm not looking for this knot to impart any action on this bait, I personally would use a Palomar knot. But like I said, you know, in a pinch, and honestly, probably in a pond, and I think on my pond rod over there, I have the Fisherman's knot set up and tied onto my spinnerbait, because this is a big bait, and it is an easy knot to tie, and it is pretty reliable. All right, y'all, that's today's video on the Fisherman's knot. Really appreciate you sticking around. Thanks for all the support. It really means a lot to me. I'm Mike G. This is Largemouth Blast, and I'll see you guys in the next one.